Okay, we're live. Welcome. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining our second live stream, which we are super excited to go through with you. Today, we're going to talk about something that comes up in conversations regularly. Do you gate or ungate your content? And ultimately, what are the strategies to make your B2B brand bingeable? I love the word bingeable because we binge on things all the time. I know I certainly do, whether it's Netflix or it's something on YouTube. We're going to talk about how you can do that for your B2B brand. I'm joined by James, my other co-founder. We're in live from London, and we're super excited that everybody is here. So if you were on the last live stream, you know we do things a little bit differently. Rather than waiting to the final 2 minutes to give you the real value, we want to give it all up front. And we're going to tell you the 3 insights that we're going to cover over the next 15 minutes straight away. Number 1 is your approach typically to try and drive an email submission with some clickbait landing page where you give a little snippet of information is outdated. And there's 1,000,001 reasons as to why that is not the right approach anymore. We're going to talk about how email addresses are just not as valuable as they used to be, and how this old approach might actually be super damaging to your overall website performance. For most of you today, I would imagine your landing page conversion rate for content submission is probably sub 1%. So 99% of people that land see that you want an email address, walk away, and maybe they never return. What is that opportunity cost for your business? Number 2, you can actually do both. You can gate and ungate on the same piece of content, allowing you to cater to the people in the funnel that are ready to engage and those that maybe aren't, by not giving you their information. And James is going to give you some really great examples of how you can do that. And the third one is technology is changing everything. And there are ways that you can now have intelligence when something appears ungated, and that's through LinkedIn as one of the core tools. And the other one is a technology that we've been testing and getting a lot of amazing insights from, which is called B2B, which gives you person-level details from your website. So it can identify people on your website, not just accounts. Super interesting. So, James, let's start with the first point, which is about why these email addresses and that old way of trying to get a submission is out of date. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, amazing, Stu. Thank you so much for having me here with you. So I think, you hinted at it in that introduction, right? It's the cost of high quality data today is so much cheaper and more accessible than it's ever been. If we really wanted someone's first name, last name, and email address, we wouldn't wait for it to come through a form, when ultimately what we are selling is an enterprise B2B SaaS. And so what we really need to do is focus on the quality of the content. Think about, how does this piece of content help our audience, people that really should be our customer today, that maybe don't know who we are, or if they do know who we are, aren't at that trust level yet where they want to give us more of their time, attention, and eventually budget, right? So how does it help them with things that they're managing and measuring? And once we understand what they are managing and measuring, the pains that they are living through day in and day out, the magic really comes in the distribution. Because if we have a high degree of confidence that we are then placing this piece of content in front of them, helping them with problems that could be keeping them awake at night right now, they will consume that content. They will gain clarity on the problems that they face. And the automatic question that happens at the very human level is, they help me with this. What else could this business help me with? And it's there where the key then becomes, how do you capture that thought? How do you capture that demand? And what we've found through a lot of the testing that we've been doing and the campaigns that we've been executing alongside our clients is this invention of what we've been calling an irresistible offer of knowledge. It's not a product demo. It's not a sales call. It's the opportunity to go 2 or 3 degrees deeper and in a more customized fashion on that information that just helped me. And if we can provide to them the offer of an opportunity to speak with our in-house subject matter expert, who will be able to help them take those insights and apply them to their own realities, that brings them into that one-to-one conversation environment where there could be an opportunity to progress it to a sale. But this is how we start to build trust. This is how we start to build relationships in a more accelerated fashion, rather than stopping it before it even gets started by gating this great content and asking for someone to show us who they are before they even know if they want to show us who they are.
Yeah, it's a great example. I think if you ever ask any marketer or even any founder, does that little snippet on the landing page do the true piece of content justice? The answer 99 times out of 100 is no, absolutely not. So what you're saying, James, is open that piece of content up, let people get the value from it, and then at the end have this irresistible offer of knowledge, which is like, hey, if you're feeling this pain, then maybe this is something else that you're facing, and we will be able to help you with that on this one-to-one conversation. And that's the moment that you have some form of email sign up or some form of identifying who they are, so that you can actually move them from the piece of content into a meeting booked. Is that your suggestion?
Absolutely. Right. This is a game of building trust. We want to take people that don't know who we are to knowing who we are and what we do, to then trusting us, to then feeling negligent to not acting right now. And in order to take people on that journey as seamlessly as possible, we need to be helpful, we need to be human, and we need to provide value with problems that legitimately they face today.
Yeah.
And following that set of steps that you just outlined there, Stu, puts us on that journey of doing that at scale.
Yeah, I love it, because truthfully, 3 years ago, you could just offer somebody to have a discovery call. And because there was loads of money in the market, people would say, yeah, sure, I'll have a discovery call with you. But now I think we're seeing the shift that you do need something that feels of real value for somebody to give you that 30 minutes of time to come in and actually engage with your business on that more formal level. So yeah, love that first one.
Yeah, I mean, one final comment on that, Stu. Sorry, Stu. If some teams put half as much effort into creating great, valuable content as they do as to nailing that one line that gets someone to go, that sounds interesting, we'll end up in a world that innovates and accelerates much faster, because we'll have more and more content, which is pushing the needle in the right direction.
Love it. Okay, so the second one we spoke about was that you can actually do both. You can gate and ungate. So can you give us a couple of examples where you've seen that work really well and some of the results that people can expect, whether somebody's at the awareness, the consideration, or the purchase phase of the marketing funnel?
Yeah, absolutely, Stu. So I think what happens quite naturally anyway is businesses gate and ungate their content simultaneously and quite harmoniously. If we take like an online event, for example, most businesses, when they're hosting a webinar, will market it out to their database, and that database will be required to come through a landing page and sign up. At the same time, that online event is also going to be broadcast live to LinkedIn via a stream just like this. And so there are two audiences there. There is an audience of people that receive the marketing email and go, they look quite interesting. I'm going to go and do some research on who they are. I might go and follow them on LinkedIn and actually realize I can access this content ungated, because I do find value in the topic, but I'm not quite ready to disclose who I am and what I do. I actually want to operate in my own control somewhat. There are businesses and individuals at a different stage of the journey who understand the reality of once they give their information away, they're going to be followed up on. And so there's a real point there to be made around how seriously sales teams should be taking those intent signals as a target audience shows that they are interested in a topic by giving their personal information away. But there is still that audience that is somewhat earlier in the journey that want to consume it via something like a LinkedIn live stream. The follow-on of that is that webinar is going to find its way to a YouTube channel. Again, an ungated environment where someone can benefit from those insights without giving away who they are. But where that starts to become really interesting is the nuggets of value and information that come from that particular production. And that's where you start to make your brand bingeable. Investing in the sound bites, the lead-ins to bring in somebody's attention to these more long-form pieces of content via YouTube Shorts, via the LinkedIn live stream, which is not live stream, sorry, video feed, which has recently been produced, that we then start to give people the opportunity to take us in small doses, larger doses, and then on an opt-in basis as well. And you can do this with all types of media. And it's something that just happens very naturally with video. But you could do the same with a long form report. You could do the same even with blogs, breaking it down and giving segments away. There's a great creator online. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with him, but his name's Justin Welsh. He's a LinkedIn writer. He produces courses on how to write for LinkedIn and build an audience. And he is one of the best to ever do it. In a podcast that I was listening to where he was a guest, he said, there is not a single thing in any of my courses that I haven't given away free online. What people pay for is the aggregation. Having all of those insights, all of those nuggets brought together in one place. And that's really what becoming a customer of a business is. It's the aggregation of all of those insights and that value, and then an ability to bring it in context of your business. And that's why we shouldn't shy away from giving them away in nugget form, long form, and then disclose who you are and take very seriously from a sales perspective. And that's how this ungated and gated equation can actually live in quite a bit of harmony together.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And I think if we stop thinking about ourselves as the marketer or the founder and think about the possible buyer, we cannot dictate where they are in the marketing funnel, whether they're going to buy in 6 months, 12 months, or 6 days. And the whole idea of allowing your brand to be bingeable and let them binge, let them do that knowledge learning so that they can go in and meet the wider team and sell your product because they've been able to consume it. I absolutely love as a concept.
Yeah, and let me just add one final point on this. You just came to mind as you were talking. I was listening to one of the sort of thought leaders that I take a lot from. His name's Rory Sutherland. He's the vice president of Ogilvy, and it was a recent video that he released. And I never heard him articulate it quite like this. But it was, how do you win with marketing as a B2B brand? And his answer was, make your brand famous. And what is the first step to becoming famous? It's being everywhere. It's like, who's that face I keep seeing? What's that name I keep seeing? And sort of following again those steps that you just outlined there, Stu, you start taking steps to becoming famous. And when you become famous, people want stuff from you unless you happen to ask of it from them.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I actually read a post yesterday that from somebody that I think would be considered famous on LinkedIn, and it's not just their demos that are increasing in performance. They actually said their hiring performance has gone through the roof because they are famous as a B2B brand from the content that they're distributing. They now get more applicants for their roles. They now have faster sales cycles because people know them. So yeah, it makes so much sense. Now, the final piece that we mentioned is technology, and we've only got a couple of minutes left, and we've spoken a lot about this, but tell us one piece of technology that people might not be aware of that you've figured can help with gated or the ungated question that we're exploring today.
The reason people struggle with the gated or ungated question is they want that validation that they've created something of value. And is it the right type of people that are seeing value in the headline and the ingredients that go into me actually producing it and putting it out to market? And to your point there, Stu, there is technology that's actually helping us to sort of give us that satisfaction, that insight, whilst also creating an ungated experience, which is what ultimately our audience wants. Now, one of those tools that we will use, and everybody, you may have noticed in the comments, there is a one pager from our last live stream, which is 3 actionable tips on how to engage your entire target market. And that document, if you was to click that link, is an ungated experience. You will immediately go through to a page where you can see the information and you can choose to download it. But what I want to show you is LinkedIn now actually provides the tools to give us the insights to see who it is that's engaging with this item. So this is the object that sits behind that link. But LinkedIn Sales Navigator provides us with this feature called Smart Links. And what Smart Links actually allows us to do is see all of the LinkedIn members that click through on this link and consume the content. Now, I'm not going to click on this today and reveal who those 3 people are, but what we did do was an internal test, and actually it's this one here, which is today's one. We did an internal test, and I'll click on this one, because on that ungated experience, I can now see the names of the individuals that interacted, how long they interacted for, and when they interacted. And this starts to give me that direction. Am I creating the right types of things? Why has someone bounced in 3 seconds? I was clearly too focused on the title rather than the actual content itself, and gives us that real-time insight so we can improve the content that we create. So smart links is there as a feature for you to immediately start using. And one thing I will say as well is when you use them on your LinkedIn posts, the LinkedIn algorithm actually favors those types of posts because you're not taking them outside the LinkedIn environment. And so it will do quite well with the algorithm too. Stu, I'm going to pass back over to you to talk about B2B, which is something we've been doing some testing with. So please give us the insight there and close us out today.
Yeah, so the LinkedIn example, phenomenal. Smart links, if you've not checked it out, you should. One that we've been using, and I think a lot of other businesses have as well, is a tool called B2B. And talk about a famous founder with founder-led sales. You've got founder-led content. And Adam Robinson's done a phenomenal job of getting his brand across. And if you haven't, check him out on LinkedIn and you'll see exactly what I mean. B2B allows us to have ungated content on our website across everything, including our webinars, including our reports and our case studies. But it actually gives you person level identification through a single line of JavaScript that you upload to your website. Now, it doesn't work in Europe, but in North America, it is a brilliant technology to turn on, test, and learn from. And it's just another example of how technology is changing this antiquated way of thinking about an email address as being the primary value. It's not. It's about getting your brand out there and make it as bingeable as possible. Because if you do, people will remember and they will want to engage with you. So we're coming to the end. We're a couple of minutes over, but I just wanted to say that if you are interested in making your own brand bingeable, one of our subject matter experts at Orbital X is doing a masterclass next week and the week following. So we've got a couple of spaces that are open, and we'd love to show you exactly how you can do it, because it is a massive opportunity right now in B2B that not many brands do it. Those that do it, I can assure you they are crushing it when it comes to top of funnel and meetings booked and hopefully revenue as well. But thank you so much for joining, James. Great as always. And we will do this again in a few weeks' time.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Cheers.